into the city limits of Jackson, Mississippi.
We're going to take this item and place into the Rules Committee. Councilman Stokes, would you have some words?
Yes, Mr. President. I want to thank legal. They're going to help us put the final touch to this ordinance. And I want to thank our chief of police and our police department. Years ago, we stopped high-speed chases in Jackson. Some remember when Jimmy Fowler's daughter was killed, and they even named the park for Jimmy Fowler, used to have Fowler Beard, daughter off of Lakeland Drive. Now, if we're not having high-speed chases in Jackson, then how can these other jurisdictions come into our city and do what they want to do, these little small towns? And it's important that we create a law to say you can't do this. Keep in mind, it's not just Jackson police officers who get arrested. Any police officer who can't do this. Keep in mind, it's not just Jackson police officers who get arrested. Any police officer who violate any ordinance or any law can be arrested. Now, somewhere down the line, there's got to be respect for this city. Somewhere down the line, we got to treat this city like we still the capital city, even though we are majority black, and that's what they're doing. It's a shame. It's a shame what happened in Ferguson, Missouri, and it's going to be a shame what's going to happen here in Jackson, Mississippi if we don't stop this madness. Somebody's going to get killed, and we're going to all say we should have done something. They do not have to come in our city on these misdemeanors. There's too many things that can be done. But in their mind, they're going to come, and they don't care what the city of Jackson say. It's like Eno Sanders said, most of these people they doing this to are poor people who can't afford lawyers to file a suit. But the first time they come in here and hurt a white person with some money, they're going to sue them. But how many poor blacks got to suffer? This ordinance would be just what we need to stop these outside jurisdictions from coming in here and respecting this city. They could call the chief of police. There's too many ways to communicate to get some help besides just coming in here bombarding someone over a misdemeanor. You know, that it was set up for high pursuit for bank robbers. You know, set up for murderers. But somebody stealing some bubble gum and those kind of things, that make no sense to anybody. You know, we all understand high pursuit. We all understand jurisdiction. You got to have jurisdiction. They can't keep coming in Jackson because they have no jurisdiction. So again, Mr. President, I think this ordinance is the way that we can stop this nonsense, because it's like monkey see, monkey do. Richland did it, then Pearl, now Richland. Who next? They're going to come out of Grenada? Thank you, Mr. President.
One thing I'll ask the legal department to do in the police department, if we could work up an interlocal agreement that kind of stipulates how we want to handle these interjurisdictional situations. And if the mayor is amenable to something like that, we can propose how we would handle police operations, and then we work with the surrounding cities to see if we can get them to enter into an interlocal agreement of how we will handle different levels of offenses and chasing back and forth across city lines would be an additional avenue of approach to address this type of issue. How do you feel about that?
I think the model to follow is the one that the city of Jackson already has, and if we can reach across county lines and make sure that there is some kind of an agreement in place that compels these other agencies to respect the ordinance the policies rather that the city of Jackson already adheres to in terms of police chases, then I think that helps a great deal. But I think that's something that, again, has to be hammered out, and that conversation led by PD and legal and this council and committee.
Okay. So if we could take, I'm asking the legal department to help kind of craft an interlocal agreement to work with the police department. We can pass it on our end, and then we could send it over to the surrounding municipalities to see who would like to govern themselves in the same prudent manner.
I think that's a good idea. I'm not sure if that, and I appreciate you being diplomatic about it, but I'm not sure if that captures exactly what Councilman Stokes is trying to achieve. I think that by saying an interlocal agreement, we give people an option, or we give them an option to respect some of the same policies that we have. And I do think it's important that we sit down at the table and have a conversation. But I also agree that we need to look at ways. This conversation is actually an extended conversation. We were complaining, Councilman Stokes, about folks giving tickets in Jackson, regional police or Pearl Police giving tickets in Jackson on the interstate right here on 20, and we all knew that they were well inside Jackson lines, and so this is an extended conversation, and I think we've got to figure out a way to incorporate your idea as well as Councilman Stokes to make sure we've got some teeth.
Mr. President, Mr. Mayor, diplomacy has its place,
Yeah, I agree.
but it just seems like total disrespect. You know, first thing you would think that the mayor of the other city would contact you, or the mayor would contact chief of police. It's too many lines of communication that should take place. Now, even if we try to do an interlocal agreement, they're not going to follow it, because in their mind, they're going to come in here and do what they want to do because of lack of respect for this city. Now, what we have to do is take it up a notch. Let's pass an ordinance. And then once we pass this ordinance, let it be known we're going to arrest you. At that point, I bet you the Supreme Court of the state of Mississippi and everybody else is going to get involved because they see that this must stop. They will go to trial in Hinds County, Mississippi, and Judge Green is the chief judge. So that's how you stop this madness, because Ferguson, Missouri started as something small, like they're starting here in Jackson, something small. If we don't nip this in the bud now, somebody's going to get killed, either in an accident or somebody's going to shoot them. Either way it go, they're going to say we sorry, but they still going to do it. So we need to stop this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Item number 6.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Ordinance of the City Council of Jackson, Mississippi, prohibiting the sale, purchase of synthetic marijuana, aka Kush, Spice, K2,